everybody. Good day. This is First Take. Appreciate you being with us. Skip Bayless, Molly Karam here in Bristol, Stephen A. joining us from Philly. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing?
All I can say is, day after day, I have to sit here and listen to you ridicule my Dallas Cowboys. Today, I'm going to get to laugh at your New York Giants.
Oh, stop.
At least they're Molly's Giants. I'm not sure if they're still yours.
Yeah, Stephen, I have a lot of anxiety about this right now. I wanted to talk to you last night, but I didn't want to bother you.
Oh, you can't bother him at night.
Molly, you never bother me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, let's get into it. We also have special guest Antonio Cromartie with us. Speaking of New York, he is in the house, and we'll talk to him in just a bit. So about last night, let's get you caught up on the latest people in the NFL coaching carousel. Congratulations to Hue Jackson, who has received a second shot as a head coach staying in state to coach the Cleveland Browns. Hue spent the last 2 seasons as offensive coordinator of the Bengals. Skip.
Yes.
Your reaction?
My reaction, Molly and Stephen A. Smith, your New York football Giants just blew it. Your New York football Giants just dragged their feet for an entire week on Hue Jackson, who would have been a I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to a 10 times better choice than Ben McAdoo? Wait a minute. Ben McAdoo is now the head football coach of a cornerstone NFL franchise? The Giants? Are you kidding me? You could have had Hue Jackson. You wind up with Ben McAdoo?
Laugh it up.
Wow. Now, back to Hue Jackson. I think he just made a great choice, the right choice. Maybe for him, a better choice than the New York Giants would have been. And by the way, I think you and I agreed on this. Hue Jackson deserved another shot as a head coach in the NFL because clearly he got his first shot back at Oakland. They went 7-4 that year before they fell apart around the experiment of trying to insert the Carson Palmer they had just acquired from Cincinnati into their lineup at midseason. Did not work out, but they did get to 7-4. Then, obviously, Hue got fired by the new regime. Reggie McKenzie led the new regime, fired Hue. He deserved this shot, and I think he will embrace it. He already yesterday in his press conference, which I watched live, embraced the new direction of the new Browns front office under owner Jimmy Haslam, featuring Paul DePodesta, a guy I knew very well back in his days in Oakland with the A's baseball team. He was featured, of course, if you know the book Moneyball or the movie Moneyball. He was a prominent character in that book. He earned his reputation as a GM in baseball, but Paul's first love was football. He played football at Harvard. He started in the Canadian Football League in his first job. I think he will do great things eventually in Cleveland, along with Sashi Brown, another great executive that I think will achieve greatness under Haslam in Cleveland with Hue in the mix. And Hue embraced the analytics approach, said he wants to be cutting edge, and this franchise will be. And clearly, all three are on the same page, reportedly. They are going to cut bait with Johnny Manziel. They have the second pick in the draft, and now our Todd McShay, in his latest mock, has Cleveland taking a guy I've brought up on the show early this year, Jared Goff out of Cal. Had a hit-and-miss year, which is why I quit talking about him on this show, but he did wind up, Jared Goff, with 43 touchdown passes to 13 interceptions. I think he's going to be big time in time. I think Hue Jackson was a great choice for the Cleveland Browns. I think they will start to do slowly but surely very good things in Cleveland with Hue and this new management group. So your thoughts, Mr. Smith, now that you're stuck with Ben McAdoo?
Well, we're going to get into Ben McAdoo in just a little bit because we're going to be talking about the Giants and the Eagles. But let me say this about Hue Jackson. I'm incredibly happy for him. It's a long time coming. It was well-deserved. We never thought that he should have been released from his duties in Oakland to begin with. They were going in a forward direction. A matter of fact, up until this year, even including this year, he's had the best season they've had in a decade. And so it was definitely, a shock to most of us that he had lost his job. The Carson Palmer experiment obviously was an education in patience because look at what Carson Palmer has been doing this year and look at what he's been doing since he's been in Arizona. When healthy, he's been absolutely sensational. So we can't ignore that. The fact that he's decided to take the Cleveland job, I must admit, initially, I was of the mindset that it was a bad thing, and I wished him nothing but luck and the best. He and I are going to talk this afternoon on my radio show, by the way. But the thing about it is that when I look at him, Skip, and I think about what you've said about DePodesta, along with Sashi Brown, if they are what you say they are, because I know nothing about these two individuals, then obviously there's a reason to have a bit of enthusiasm. I can't dispute that. I think it was wise for him to embrace the analytics approach because that's the way sports is going. Not that it's going to be the preeminent or the dominant factor, at least on a football level, but clearly it has its place in the National Football League. And since he acknowledged that he was dealing with some of that in Cincinnati, they were the 7th-ranked offense this year. Andy Dalton did have what some would term a breakout year this year in certain respects, and that was under the tutelage and the guidance of Hue Jackson. So the fact that he's willing to embrace it in Cleveland, I think is a good thing. And if these guys are what you say they are, combined with Hue Jackson being who he is, then I think it's a better situation for him, Skip, than it was in Oakland. Because if you remember, he's pretty much had the reins in Oakland until Reggie McKenzie came along. Then they gave him the reins, and Reggie McKenzie wanted his own guy. Well, Hue Jackson is their guy in Cleveland. He's the guy they've elected to go with. And the fact that they have been very, very clear in their willingness to get rid of Johnny Manziel is a headache he won't have to deal with. The only trepidation that I have of it, Skip, is that both he, Marvin Lewis, and Mike Tomlin are all in the same division, which means in order for a couple of them to succeed, one of them is going to have to fail.
That's a good point.
So you have a paucity of African-American coaches. 3 are within the same division, which is the AFC North. So you got to root. You actually have to root for Cincinnati to lose more so than ever before, if indeed you want a couple of minorities to have head coaching jobs. Because if Mike Tomlin loses, he ain't going to keep his job. If Hue Jackson loses, Haslam in Cleveland's going to force him out. But in Cincinnati, apparently you can lose all day and still be the head coach for the Cincinnati Bengals if you're Marvin Lewis, because they have absolutely no problem keeping him in place.
Yeah, and you can lose ugly and stay in place in Cincinnati. To your point, it's interesting to me, Hue Jackson didn't exactly shy from the challenge of staying in the AFC North and having to deal with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati and Baltimore. So I give him high marks for that. By the way, I was told before the show it was McShay's mock draft. It was Mel Kiper's mock draft that has Jared Goff, number 2, going to Cleveland, just for the record.
Got it.
So bottom line, I also want to emphasize the fact that Hue Jackson called DePodesta and Sashi Brown 2 of the smartest men in the NFL. Now, that is a mouthful for 2, quote-unquote, unproven young executives. I believe it. I think they will prove that they are that. So I say congratulations, Cleveland.
It's congratulations, Cleveland, specifically congratulations to Hue Jackson. But I would like to know from him, how does he know they're 2 of the smartest guys in all of the NFL? I would like to know how he knows that.
He just said he clicked with them in their long sessions they had, and he was so impressed. And remember, Hugh's 50 years old. He's been around the NFL for a long time. He's been around college football for a long time. And for him to make that declaration this early, I think you can take it to the bank.
Yeah, I'm different than you because I'm not taking that to the bank. I don't think that you sit down with a dude for a few hours and then all of a sudden you can label them the smartest dudes in the league. I know you've been around for a long time, and I get that, but I'd rather lean on your expertise, because what you're telling me is that you knew DePodesta because you've had dealings with him. Because as a journalist and a columnist in San Jose and beyond, you've had to deal with this man. That's entirely different than seeing somebody and them impressing you for a few hours, even though they're the ones conducting the interview. There's plenty of people that look hellacious and hellified in an interview, and then all of a sudden it's time to get to work, and they're nightmarish.
I've seen him in action. I'm impressed.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the team that Hue did not make the trip to. We move to the East.